Hi, I'm Damien Sakala. I'm a classical guitarist, although I do play in other styles of guitar, including electric, folk. I've recently picked up things like banjo and bass for fun, and I've also been working on my voice at school lately, although I wouldn't call myself a voice major by any means. I am, at the end of the day, a classical guitarist. Why I started studying music in college? Well, or since I was a kid, I've been passionate about music. When I was super little, I had a couple CDs, both Michael Jackson. Eventually, I kept collecting, but I had Michael Jackson CDs, and I listened to them all day when my parents were at work. Eventually, I got an iPod and had, dozens and dozens of artists. And eventually, my dad even gave me his old MP3 player, and that just blew my mind. I didn't have to like plug things into a speaker. I just had music everywhere I went all the time. That's probably when I was about 9 or 10 years old. I got that MP3 player. Opened my mind to so many different genres and styles, and I was so interested. I asked my dad about lessons, and he took me to my grandma, who was an organ player for the church, and she started teaching me piano. Um, we did that for years. I remember being interested in my uncle's drums and guitar, but I just did these like informal lessons for a while. Eventually, we moved to Arizona, and I kind of fell out of touch until the pandemic hit. And right about the time COVID started, my mom had bought me my first guitar. So for years, all my classes were on Zoom, and I just kept that guitar right next to me at my desk. It was all day, every day, in between every class, during my lunch period or after school. I was always playing it. I would have like my school on one tab and the next tab over be like a YouTube video on how to play a song. Um, and like I could follow the tabs, but the theory and stuff just never really made sense uh, as I try to teach myself. But I was super passionate about it still, and I couldn't let myself just have this half learned thing. So I went to Pima, I knocked out some gen eds, and I kept taking music classes and a little more and a little more. And I found myself in Guitar One, doing really well. And I talked to the professor at the time about what it means to really be a music major and what our possibilities are. And he really opened my mind to a world I didn't know existed or was possible through music. Something I'd always dreamt of was very doable if I just put in the work. So that week I switched my majors over and became a music education major. Um, and to this day, I still listen to my CD collection. I have hundreds now. I'm completely buried in music still, and I've graduated Pima with honors. Um, do more of a victory lap semester now just because I really liked my professors, and I wanted to be as good as possible before applying at the U of A, especially with having such a late start compared to my peers. Now, why I wanted to be a music educator in particular, um, like most of my classmates are performance majors, all but one student who wants to be a therapist. Everyone's a performance major, kind of a black sheep that wants to be the educator here. And that's because I want to be a teacher for a decade now. I think the idea first hit me at seventh grade when I started middle school. Um, that's when you like go from having one teacher all day every day for the whole year to having 8 different teachers in a day. Even every quarter we change teachers, not just semesters. I've seen so many different genres of like teaching styles and being taught so many different subjects. Um, really blew my mind, and I took so many different classes: woodshop, uh, newspaper editing, ceramics, and I was really trying to find what I wanted to do. And no matter what the subject was, I realized it mattered who was teaching it, was what made me enjoy it. I wanted to be someone that could make someone enjoy class. At the time, I had, in particular, a ceramics teacher that I was extremely close with. He really helped me out. I job shadow him. He was extremely supportive at a young age. Um, he gave me a lot of confidence to do what I wanted to do and be who I wanted to be. And having someone like that at such a young age when I was overwhelmed with possibilities just meant the world to me. And I've always wanted to pass that on to someone else, because I think in middle school in particular, you go from like studying just such a narrow-minded thing to being blown open with where are you going to college, where are you going to do this, and having never thought about that, I felt overwhelmed. And having someone that just reminded me to enjoy my passions and just study what makes me happy meant the world. Um, Fortunately, he's gone now, but um, his legacy meant a lot to me, and I really hope I can have that impact on someone else. And that also ties into our next question: what age groups I'd be interested in. Um, like I said, middle school seems like the most impactful to the kids, which does mean a lot to me. I want to have a good relationship with my students, and middle school is the place where you can really build confidence in someone, and that's when most people, I feel like, kind of set into their hobbies. Not that you can't pick something up at any age, but uh, middle school is where personalities are really formed, I believe. That said, in high school, as a teacher, I'd have more options to teach. I think in middle school, I'd be fairly limited with subjects. In high school, they have music theory classes, music history classes, guitar classes. Sure, the top three things I'd be interested in particular, as well as um, like instructions outside of public schools. Like, I wouldn't mind being a private studio instructor and teaching older gentlemen how to play their instruments, giving new people new hobbies um, that they thought they could never learn. I skateboard with a lot of people, and most of them are 2 or 3 times older than me, and I love helping those guys out. Every Sunday morning, I'm out there with a bunch of people in their 50s and 60s, and they still learn new tricks. And that depth of wisdom and like being able to talk things through is really enjoyable for me. Whereas sometimes it feels like with younger kids, you're just programming them to move their finger here or there, and they aren't really like learning what it is they're doing. They just know that's what I told them to do. Still, I would love to be in that like middle school, early high school range, public school wise. All right, recalling an inspirational music teacher I currently have or have had in the past. There are two here at Pima that have really shaped my path. They are Dr. Stephen Lerman, a graduate of the U of A, and then our head of program, Dr. Ann Grimes. Both of these instructors have had my back since the day I walked through our doors. Particular, Dr. Lerman is the instructor that pulled me out of just kind of dipping my toes in music classes and really convinced me to just jump all the way in and dive into being a music major like I've always really wanted but just been too scared to commit to. And as I mentioned, I've come into this significantly later than most of my peers around me, and Dr. Lerman has done a fantastic job catching me up to speed. Well, he has just taken me from not even knowing like what I'm really doing on my fretboard to now I'm kind of a focal point in our orchestra. I've like before then I had no orchestra background, no formal lessons. I've never played in a band, and now we have a concert in about a week, and I'm gonna be front and center during the whole guitar ensemble. I'm gonna do a Bach trio with a couple of my buddies, and then after that I'm doing a solo piece. So I'm like a, a centerpiece in our guitar program here at Pima. And a few years ago, I would have thought that was never possible. And then Dr. Grimes herself has helped me completely different way. Although she is still good at guitar, surprisingly. But she was my theory teacher, and she does the theory, the oral perception, and just does everything, it feels like. And before I took her classes, I didn't even really know what people meant by key signature. But as soon as I started going to her classes, everything clicked. Um, and it just made so much sense. I loved going to class. I'd show up 15 minutes early every day. And even though I've graduated, I still go there and meet with her almost every week. And she's helped me with ear training in particular and learning to sing. Because having not played as much, my ear wasn't as sharp as some of those around me. She was more than happy to work with me when I asked for the extra help. So I really want to be able to have that skill that Dr. Lerman had when it comes to getting people to learn things quickly and effectively. Like he has taught me how to practice efficiently instead of starting from the beginning of a piece and trying to run it until I mess up. He has taught me how to like maximize my time on the guitar. And then Dr. Grimes has had an unwavering positivity and support and patience that I've never experienced from a teacher. She is always there, having my back. Sharing situations in which I've worked with students or acted in a teaching capacity. All right. At Pima, I found myself tutoring a lot of my classmates. Like I said, I'd show up early before class and got to a point where my classmates knew like they could come in early and ask me questions about what we're learning, and like I'd help them with their homework before we even started our morning periods. And then I do it after class. I do it on my days off. I meet people at Starbucks or at a diner, a local park, and like go over material with them. That went from like the very first month of theory all the way until theory 4. I was still doing it, and even now I'm not in the theory classes anymore. I'm still helping my classmates. Like my buddies in the guitar ensemble that are going through all those things. It's like really overwhelming at times, but I love being able to sit there with them and help them like learn it. And I never just like give them answers. It's always about teaching them the process and truly understanding it. And I'm fine taking as long as that needs. And changing my styles to match what they respond well with. Outside of music, though, I've been deeply involved in skateboarding as long as I can remember. I don't even know when I first got on one. It's been my whole life. So much so that even the local skate shop just kind of grandfathered me in. Before I knew it, I was practicing my guitar repertoire in the skate shop and getting paid for it because I was on the clock. That said, through skating, I taught so many people. I can't even count how many people I've like taught to drop in or ollie or just push around. It's one of those things similar to guitar where everyone wants to try it out, and the real make or break is who's there to hold your hand. Who's there to walk you through the first steps. And I particularly like how it feels like a collaborative effort. That's what's always drawn me to it. If my buddy is trying to learn a trick, I'll sit down and watch him, and I'll give him my feedback. And like he might drop in and try something, and I'll give him my input, and then he'll immediately sit down and watch me go, and then he'll help me learn. And it's just nonstop with everyone at the park all day, every day. It's a constant community of support and instruction, and it's always been a special place for me. And I, for a long time, thought that was a one of a kind environment until I started taking classes at Pima, and I found my music friends, and even the other majors were all like that. We'd get done with our classes and we'd all share information. I was particularly good at theory, so I could help everyone with their music theory and understand subjects. And then I might have a vocal major help me with my singing or my ear training. And then a guitarist might help me learn how to finger a scale or like shape my dynamics a little better. But it's really had that same energy of we all pass around what we know, and we all strive to make each other better. And I really appreciate that. Let's see. Please share one or two examples of times or situations in which you have served in a leadership position. All right, outside of music or even skateboarding, a cook. I've taken a lot of culinary classes, taken them at Pima. I've been cooking for as long as I can work. I've cooked for like our governor. I've cooked for an NFL cookbook and everything. It's just something I love. And with that said, I now work at a restaurant just down the street from my house, and we happen to do an actual leaderboard system, which was a new one to me. We are ranked and updated almost every day with exact percentages of guest satisfaction and all of that. And with that said, I've thankfully been in the top position for month after month after month. And eventually I did so well for so long that they gave me a chef's coat, has my name embroidered on it. And well, we don't technically have head cooks there or chefs. I've been given like more responsibility to look after everyone and maintain quality. Like we get new menu items, I'm the one that teaches the rest of the staff how to cook them. Something's going wrong in the kitchen, I'm the guy the manager comes to fix a problem for everyone else. I'm trained on everything back there, so I could help out anybody. And I'm someone that is there for the team in any aspect, any situation, whether they've been there for 3 weeks or 3 years. I'm the person that gets them out of it. And I work sometimes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And I try my best to keep a positive attitude, and I try to keep that around and pass it to others. And constantly try and keep people motivated. I try and help them. I'll always show them everything I can to make them as good as they can be, because I want us all to have a good time. I want us all to put out the best food we can. I want everyone to look forward to work. And even in like the past 4 or 5 months, so I've really stepped into this role of being a point guy in the kitchen. I've seen an insane difference in our team. On our rankings, almost every single cook has gone up 10%. Remember when I first showed up, it was like 73 or 74% would put you at first place on the leaderboard. I know that score, you'd be dead last. Like everyone has improved so much, and everyone's happy. I've had a lot of people tell me that they come to work and stay working because of my positive attitude and my patience to help them. and that's meant a lot. Um, and it's really nice to have been given this responsibility and seen such positive reactions, and everyone has appreciated the support, and it's not really awkward anymore, like it was the first week. Let's see. Closing statement on why I applied for music education in particular. Well, I applied to the University of Arizona because that's where the best in the scene are. I could have applied to some random school in a different city that no one really knows of, and could have probably gotten a music degree without much challenge, but that's not who I am. I want to study with strong faculty, people like Tom Patterson, who are known everywhere. I wanted to go to the place where someone like my instructor, Dr. Lerman, became a world-class musician. This is where he learned. I'm someone I want to be in a place where there's serious competition and high expectations, because that's what's going to push me to grow. So what's going to have me become a better player, a better instructor. If I want to be a good teacher, I need to learn from even better teachers. I've been skateboarding my whole life. It's given me grit and determination, and that's really mixed with a love for music that's been there just as long. And it's driven me to try and become a better guitarist every day. And I want to be the best educator I can. And the U of A is a place where I know I can make that happen. It's a place where I can take this energy, this love for my hobbies, and I can put it into a career. I can put it into my education, my schooling, and I could really make something out of what I love. Thank you.